Hello, Vintage Club. Hello. I've come in a couple of minutes early. We've got a lot to get through today. Welcome to Vintage Club 25. Very exciting one. We've got a prize draw, a special one-off prize draw with prizes. Yes. Then we've got an open Q&A, and I'm going to talk about the whole thing in a moment. Before I kick off, though, let's make use of the fact that I'm a couple of minutes early. Can you just let me know thumbs up or yeses in the live chat, please? Is my voice loud and clear? And is my guitar loud and clear alongside my voice? And hopefully those are going to be yeses and thumbs up, and then we'll be able to get going. I'm getting some in already. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Now, I'm not even looking at the numbers. I don't know how many there are here today, but I'm hoping we get quite a decent audience in. I'm going to go straight to the slideshow and just show you what's going on, because we've got a lot to pack in, and I've got a suspicion we might go over the 60 minutes. That's okay for me if I do. It'll be for you depending on what commitment you have on today. So let's go and take a peek. Not that one, that's the one I want. So a little intro about the club, what we're doing today is the first thing. Second thing is a prize draw, live prize draw. We are going to have 3 winners pulled live. And then after that, the main part of it is going to be today's session is an open Q&A. People have pre-submitted questions. I asked for video submissions or written questions, and we've got both. So I'm going to try and get through each and every one of those. Some would maybe require a full 60-minute slot to answer in their own right. I'm going to have to give extremely brief, condensed answers or skirt around the issue and say, go somewhere else or come back to me later or something like that. So the idea today is to get you, the audience, engaged, to bring you into the live stream, into the broadcast itself. We used to host these on Zoom, where you could actually add people to the stage, as it were. We can't do that anymore on the streaming platform that we use that goes directly to YouTube. We've got the live chat, but it's particularly difficult when you're presenting and focusing and playing and demonstrating to keep up with the live chat. Only occasionally do you get a moment to read it. So the interactivity and the engagement live in the moment can be hard to maintain. So I wanted to increase that and offer you an opportunity to be a part of the actual show. So I asked you to submit questions. It's an open Q&A. I had no idea what would be asked. I've been asked some pretty interesting ones to get our to. So hopefully you'll find some interest in here. Some of them are going to be technique specific, or they might relate to a bit of theory or songwriting, different things, something for everybody. Right, so let's go to the next thing. That's the intro. Let's go to the prize draw, the exciting moment, the prize draw. Let me just come off that. Right, we have 107 entries. Entry was free. I had a question asking me if it was free, and it didn't occur to me that somebody might think you had to pay. So I didn't even announce that early on. Apologies if you thought you had to pay to enter. It was free. First prize is going to be a free lesson, a free private lesson with myself. Second prize will be a discounted lesson, and third prize will be a discounted lesson also. Let me show you that on the next slide. There we are. That's basically stating what I've just said. 3 prizes. 107 people. I'll let you do the math. If you want to work out your chances of winning. Obviously, when the first winner is drawn, they are removed. So it goes from 107 to 106 and so on. Let's crack on with it. Let's hope that this works, because I'm going to go to an external web page with a spinner. I really hope you can all see that. I'm going to stop sharing and just go back in to make sure that when I did that, you could all see it. So can you just say, yes, 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 we could see that, it looked great. If you can't, I'm panicking. So please. Now, there's a little delay between me announcing that and the coming in. So, oh, somebody's saying, no, 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 you couldn't see it. I am panicking now because this is going to spoil the party. Let me try again. Tab. That's the one I want to share. Right, you don't see a spinning wheel.
You have to add it to the stage, Richards. You have to add it to the stage.
Leven is coming in. Hi, Leven. Maybe you can help me with this.
You can't hear me? You can't hear me? No, he can't hear me, but he needs to add it to the stage.
Oh, sorry, go on. I didn't have my volume for you turned up. Could you say that again, please? Sorry.
You need to add it to the stage. I could see that it was in one of your feeds here, but you didn't add it to the stage. And that's why nobody saw it.
Let me try it again. Present. Share screen. Share. Do you see it now? Oh, I've got it. I have got it. Right. Add to stage. And what I need to do is very quickly create a new scene. This is not what I hoped for. It's like leaving it isn't a camera slot and it isn't a media slot and it isn't a dynamic mic slot. If you're still here, Leven, would you be able to assist on this? After all the excitement of that, we've hit a disappointment brick wall. I am so sorry, everybody. I want to be open and fully transparent on this. I want you to see the happened. That spoils the fun, doesn't it? So there must be a way of getting that to the stage. There we go. It's happened. Hooray! All right. Oh, thank you. Right. Everybody can see that now. Fingers crossed, everybody can see that. Here we go. I'm going to click it. It'll be a 10-second drum roll, and then we will have our first prize winner announced. Alfio Magnanelli, you have won first prize. I'm going to be meeting you. You've won a free one-to-one private lesson with me. Fantastic. Congratulations. Right, let's go. Let's remove Alfio so it's down to 106 people. Let's go for Angelakis Kutsos, you are second prize winner. Congratulations. 60% off a private lesson with me. Now we're down to 105 people. Roger Humya, well done, Roger. You are a winner. Third prize, get 25% discount from a lesson with me. Okay, so 3 winners. I haven't written it down. You have made a note of it if you're a winner. If you were in the live chat, if you're watching in the audience and you're a winner, please put it in the chat and tell us how happy and excited you are. That would be great. I can't wait to hear from you and arrange that. I will email you all out. I've got your email addresses and we'll discuss and liaise and arrange those lessons. Okay, fantastic. Let's move along then. So what we are now going to move to is the Q&A session. So this is what we have 9 video submissions. You can see the names there. This is the order I'll be doing them in as well. So if you're trying to anticipate when yours might come up, this is the order. And then we've got 5 written submissions. Now, I must give apologies at this point because I was speaking with somebody today who said, I've put a question in, but I'd not received it. And we found out that there is a bit of a tech glitch. If you put a question in through the emails that you receive from Fanny, it goes and is stored in a place that the approved teachers don't have access to until it's shared with us after the fact. So if you've submitted a question and your name isn't there and you think you're being ignored, please forgive us. You're not being ignored. I'm going to get those questions and I will try to address them outside of this live stream in a written format somehow, probably the community topic. So apologies for that. Right, let's go for question number 1. Question number 1, let's see who that's from. That's from Jason. In the community, you will have seen Jason as On Time. I know that Jason is doing the blues immersion course. He's from Arizona. Let us bring in Jason's question. Here we
is like using borrowed chords for my bridge, because I obviously when you get to your bridge, it always sounds different. And the notes or the chords, well, even the notes are, but I mean, if it's arpeggio or like finger picked or something, but this is going to be more strumming, and because I'm starting, basic. The chords in the bridge are always kind of way different, but there's a lot of emotion to them. They get that, I know a lot of people kind of blow over them or they don't even use them, but I really love bridges, and I want to kind of give some kind of like, whoa, So how do I narrow down what chords I'm going to borrow from the borrowed chords? How do I narrow that down to my key? So if in this case, if I'm in the key of C, or I wrote up, the different keys here that I was thinking about using. But how would I take what key I'm in and using my examples if you want, or using an example that you have that could be better described or used in your case. I have a feeling you're going to bust out your circle of fifths, but I don't know, maybe not. But that's my question, is how do I narrow down what chords I can use for borrowed chords so I can maybe grab like 3 or 4 different chords that are borrowed so I can use those to play around with my chords I've chose to do in my song, so I can like have something to work with that I can play with and figure it out. Like there's so many chords, like how would I just like...
Okay. So Jason's video cut short just at that very last moment. He's asking about borrowed chords, songwriting. How do you make the bridge sort of stand out if you're in borrowed chords? He suspects I'm going to bust out my circle of fifths. You know what? I am. You know me too well. I love the circle of fifths, mate. It's just the best thing ever. Let's take a peek. I've written up some notes here, so I'm going to add this to stage. I want this to be more prominent than me. So Jason mentioned the key of C. We're going with it. It's a nice simple one to get our heads around. The C major scale is all the natural notes from C up to B, and then it obviously continues in all directions. The diatonic chords that belong to the key of C, the major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished formula, maybe. If not, it's there in front of you, and we can assign those numbers. I use Roman numerals, where it's uppercase for major, lowercase for minor and diminished. Now, behind, I don't know if you saw it sufficiently on his whiteboard. He's obviously in teacher mode, teaching himself mode. He had a chord progression C, G, A minor, F. C, G, A minor, F. You will know this chord progression. It's the axis of awesome. It's the 4-song chord progression, ubiquitous. Okay, so you might have an intro that is C, G, A minor, F. That's the 1, 5, 6, 4 chord in the key of C, if you want to know the numbers on it. And your verse might be that, and your pre-chorus might be that, and your chorus might be that. It might be a very modern contemporary pop song that just has 4 chords all the way through. But then you get to the bridge and you think, well, I want something different. I don't want it to continue with C, G, A minor, and F. I need something else. So then, yeah, you bust out your circle of fifths as a handy songwritery tool. So the circle of fifths on the left-hand side, you can see there. Around the outside edge is the common version of it, with just notes given. But we are now seeing that outside rim as being major chords. So the inner rim is minor chords. And what it means is you can isolate a cluster of 6 chords, 3 on the outside, 3 on the inside, that are in the same key. So over at the right hand side there, what we've got is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 chords in the key of C. The diminished is a poor, half neglected relative of these, poor thing. It doesn't often get spoken about, and it's not in that cluster of 6. So we're going to disregard it here. Right, so that's the key of C. But look at all the space around it. Jason is asking, what chords can we borrow? Can we bring in something that's not in the key of C, borrow it from somewhere else to provide a contrast, a different sound? The answer is yes. And the answer is yes, there's many, many, many ways of doing it. So I'm going to limit it to one way of doing it. We're in the key of C major. You can turn your attention to the key of C minor. The key of C minor has got 6 main chords that we're thinking. We're not using the diminished of that key either. And on this diagram, the key of C minor are those chords shown in blue. Majors on the outside, minors on the inside. And you can use pretty much any one of those. So you've doubled your palette of chords from 6 to 12. With a caveat, when you're borrowing chords from the parallel minor, you don't tend to borrow the minor 1 chord. So if you're in the key of C, you don't tend to borrow C minor. You can, but not very common. And you don't tend to borrow the G minor, the minor 4. The reason for that is that in the key of C major, G is the dominant chord. Dominant chord major or dominant chord as a 7 is the one that pushes back home to the key of, to the C chord, the tonic chord. But equally, if you're in the key, if you're borrowing from the C minor, that can also be kind of a dominant-ish thing, but it's weaker. So you tend not to go with that. So that leaves us really with 4 strong contenders. It could be B flat, E flat, A flat, all majors, or maybe F minor. Now, if you're going with F minor, you're going to hear something that's very recognizable from, let's say, the catalogue of John Lennon. If we're in the key of C, F, F minor, back to C. That's very, very commonly used. Doing the F minor, the 4 minor chord, moving from 4 major to to C works a treat. Let's move on. So what I've done here is I've helped you write your song, Jason, this imaginary song. So we've got verse, C, G, A minor, F. We get to the chorus, C's, and then F's and G's. Okay, so the chorus is already slightly different, but it's still diatonic. We haven't introduced any surprising sounds yet, no new flavors. So I've put in two alternative possible bridges here that would come, let's say we've got verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, bridge. We want to hear something new. So I'll just play through verse, chorus, and then bridge the first of those, A flat G, B flat C, verse, A minor, then go into the F, chorus, chorus still, bridge, ooh. So suddenly that took us to a new place. Our ears were pricked up in surprise, like, ooh, what was that sound? That's not one I expect to hear in the key of C. The A flat and the B flat. Okay, let's try bridge 2 as a possible contender down at the bottom. That's also going to use A flat, but it's going to do the F to F minor trick that I showed you about. So verse. It's all very familiar, all very diatonic. Bridge. Okay, so that F minor, it's a borrowed chord. The A flat was a borrowed chord, and they just give a surprise, a delight, a little something different to keep the appetite interested, to throw that in. Those are just two suggestions, and it's all using the tool of the circle of fifths, thinking, okay, I'm going to look next door, the parallel minor key is right next door, I'm going to pluck out one chord, two chords. The only thing is you don't want to overdo it, because that will make it sound like you're changing key. So it's interspersing your diatonics with some extra spices. You're not actually changing key. That's the difference. Okay, let's move on. The next question is from Michal from Czech Republic. So I'm going to go to video number 2. Let's bring Michal in. Here we go.
My name is Mike, and first of all, I would like to say happy birthday and thank you for everything you are doing to JustinGuitar Community. I'm from Czech Republic, and it means a real lot to me. Thank you very much. And to the question I would like to ask is if you can help me build the structure to achieve my lifetime goal, or how to say it. For example, I'm mainly influenced by Paul Davids. I know he's playing really great, and one day I hope I can play at least half like him. But it's really hard for me to set the steps to achieve this goal. So can you give us a little guideline about setting the steps to achieve something like this big goal? Thank you.
Okay. Well, I think I said Michal, and I probably should have said Michal. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Mike. You go by the name Mike as well. Right, Mike wants me to solve world peace and all the problems in the world, and set him on the right path to becoming a guitar god. So no small matter here. This is, this is not a little one, is it? Okay, what have we got? I'm going to be providing a tiny weeny little bit of tough love. I can't give you in a small snippet of time here what you're looking for. You're saying about Paul Davids being something of an idol in terms of his guitar ability. What I do know of him is that he started playing when he was very young. He must have dedicated thousands of hours to it. I know that he went to a guitar institute in Amsterdam, I'm tempted to say. So he's got basically the equivalent of a degree, a university degree in music. I think he studied classical and rock guitar. I mean, he's an accomplished player, no doubt. How did he get that? He'd probably tell you dedicated and diligent, focused practice. Right. Please forgive me. I'm not being mean. And what I'm doing here, Mike, is perhaps not just answering your question, but maybe offering something to so many of us, including me. I've been guilty of this at all sorts of times in my life. I've taken some quotes from Mike's learning log. In the guitar community, we have a thing called learning logs, where people kind of keep a diary, a personal space where they can write down what they're learning, what they're doing. And some of Mike's entries over time, I just started to pick out a bit of a pattern. So he started guitar 2 years ago, look at that, June 2023. And he put freestyle learning. He didn't follow any routine. July, a year later, I finally made my own list of a daily routine. So 1 year later, he made a routine for himself. So this first year was kind of making it up on the fly a little bit. In that same month, my planned learning schedule, I am not just doing it. I am just roaming around. I started to feed myself with different musicians. Sean Daniel made a video about basic country strumming. That's what I'm working on. So it didn't last very long, that practice schedule, unfortunately, and he started to sort of roam around and do the YouTube wandering business. Landed upon another teacher who maybe was going to help. October that year, started with Paul Daniels' acoustic adventure. So jumped from Sean Daniel to Paul Davids. Did I say Paul Daniels? I think I did. Sorry, Paul Davids. February this year, he abandoned Paul's course and found a course with Tommy Emmanuel teaching fingerstyle with thumb picks. And then he just drills what he wants and plays it for however long he wants. So another source of inspiration and another source of teaching. And then March this year, not following a strict practice routine. These are his words in his emphasis, again, capitals. I won't finish reading it, but then at the end, Mike bought himself his dream guitar. He bought himself a new acoustic guitar. So every reason and every inspiration having his dream guitar to be on track and to get on track and to right those wrongs, could I say, without being too mean. It's just a lack of focus and a lack of having one path to go down. And it's like, oh, look, a squirrel type of syndrome, isn't it? Oh, I like that, I'm going to follow that for a bit. Oh, I like that, I'm going to follow that for a bit. Find the course and stick to the course. One is I've put up links here, I'm going to share these with you. You obviously enjoy the fingerstyle. That's where you say you're going, you're not keen on strumming. For all that Justin doesn't have deep dives and hundreds of lessons on fingerstyle, it's a start. So I would say go to Justin's fingerstyle courses. He has folk fingerstyle and then he has blues fingerstyle, and follow that path, follow that structure. And then having got the basics, the foundations, maybe go back to your Paul Davids course and use his fingerstyle lessons. I'm not familiar with the acoustic adventure. I presume he's got fingerstyle in there. Maybe go back to your Tommy Emmanuel, the master, and pick out from his and find where you fit in and build it up from there. I hope that is kind of hinting at what you may need, but I think you already know it. So I hope I'm only telling you what you already know. Okay, next up we have Ashu, Beatup6String. Let me add Ashu to stage. And
Hi Richard, I could use some help learning how to mix percussive strumming into fingerstyle. The way I believe Justin taught it, we're supposed to use this part of the hand against the strings and sort of get the strings to hit the guitar, but they don't seem to do that for me. I get a dull sound, something like this. But if I use my thumb going into the guitar, I get the sound that he seems to get. Hope you can help me with that, and then also talk about sort of some interesting patterns that sound good while learning this technique. Thank you, Richard.
Okay, thank you, Ashu. Right, I hope I can help you with that as well. If you're not sure what is being spoken about there, Justin has a couple of lessons on it. Provide links after the fact. Where in one lesson where he's strumming with the pick, he calls it the backbeat hit. So in the middle of strumming on 2 is a backbeat hit. You get this percussive sound, and that's achieved from damping the strings whilst you hit with your pick. And it's something that you need to develop slowly and consciously. And Justin says, don't hold a chord down, just build up to it so that in time you can hit the strings and get that percussive sound. But there's a second usage of that when you're playing fingerstyle, and I think we were talking about it in the context of a Paul McCartney song from memory. You want still to hear the thin strings as you are strumming with first finger, but simultaneously you're hitting the thick strings to get both sounds together. That one and that one. And the sound that you get the percussive click with is when these strings hit the metal frets. So it's like going inwards and pressing them but at speed. And doing that as well. So it's kind of a slow build-up process. Let me just bring this back on screen. So if you were just accenting the backbeat, the 2 and the 4, think of the 8ths like this, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Thumb would just be your bass note. First finger would be up. And then 2 would be your first finger nail down, and would be your first finger up. So if I hold a chord down, it's kind of yesterday-ish, isn't it? I think that's what the Paul McCartney song was he was talking about, actually. But if you want that backbeat hit on the 2 and the 4, you've done your thumb, first finger down, first finger up with the fleshy bit, and then it's fingernail down and hitting that at the same time. So I've written it out step by step by step by step. Justin in his video lesson shows this, he demonstrates it, but it's not written out in this manner. So when I make these resources available, maybe just having it in front of you in that broken down process might help you concentrate and figure it out and work it slowly. You'll build it in slowly, but hopefully it will get there. You asked a supplementary question, and I must confess, I'm sorry, I didn't work on that. Apologies. Okay, Alfio, the winner. Here we are. This is Alfio asking a question. Let me bring Alfio on screen. You're going to get to see it, everybody. The person who is having a lesson.
Of a track from YouTube, and I want to see if I can determine the time signature and strumming rhythm by hearing the track only. There's no lyrics to go by, it's just the music itself. Okay, so have a listen to the track. It's about 10 seconds long, and then I'll ask my questions. So here's my questions. First one is, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the time signature on this one is either 3/4 time, meaning 3 beats per bar, each beat is a quarter note, or 6/8 time, meaning 6 beats per bar, each beat is an eighth note. That's my first question. Second question is, excuse me, if I'm correct, how do I determine which of the two time signatures it is? And my third question is, I think the strumming rhythm on this goes down on beat 1, down on beat 2, up on and, down on beat 3. Here's what I think, here's my picture of it. So that's what I think, how the strumming goes. And I'm going to play it for you here using A chord. So that's it, Richard, and I thank you for your time. Bye now.
All right, thanks, Alfio. I'd be interested to know what other people think on that one. 6/8 or 3/4. That's all we got, folks. That's all we got. Now, on the very, very short music section, there was also a bit of percussion. Not much of a percussion. I think there was a hand clap or a something being whacked, and maybe a bit of a shaker or a tambourine in the background. 3/4 or 6/8. Go for it. See what you think as before we get into the nitty gritty of what I'm going to say, which I'll start talking about now. Alfio is 6/8. He's thinking it's 6/8 with a down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, which would be 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Although on his piece of paper it was just 1, 2, and 3. So if that was 3/4, it would be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Repeated. You don't do the 4, 5, 6 things. Okay. Right, so what I've got here is rhythmic notation of 6/8 in the top left, the first bar, and then underneath it I've got the A chord played as Alfio was doing with the count that I've just shown you. 6/8 time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6/8 in the bar, and it was an A chord, and the down, the 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you don't know, in 6/8 time you emphasize, you accent the 1 and the 4. They're the strong pulses. Some people get mixed up between beats and pulses, so you can say there are 6 beats. But in 6/8 there are 2 pulses. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's like a 2-way movement. If you've got a full band and a drummer and percussion, it becomes quite clear because the drummer will be leading you with 2 pulses on a bass drum and a snare, say. However, another way of doing it, and that is thinking 3/4. So at the top we've got the rhythm count 1 2 3 1 2 3, and down below we've got the A chord, down down up down 1 2 and 3, 1 2 and 3, 1 2 and 3. And you might think they're identical. Mathematically, yes. It's all about the feel, and I go back to the word pulse that I mentioned. Just look at one thing though. Look at the BPM up at the top here for the 3/4, and look at the BPM up at the top there for the 6/8. And I'm hoping you notice that 90 BPM in 6/8 would have to be notated as 180 BPM in 3/4. If you, and also another notice, here on the repeats, I've got 4 repeats. So if I was to play 2 bars 4 times, that's 8 bars. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's 8 bars. For the same amount of music, the BPM is half. The number of repeats is only 2 now, because in 6/8 it would be 1 2 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's exactly the same amount of music. It's exactly the same number of strums. It's all identical. We don't get very much percussive information in that particular tune. I asked Alfio what it was, and he told me that it's by a man called Alan Frew, a Canadian musician, and it's a song all about Canada and how wonderful that country is. And even when he has the band, the studio recording, there's not a lot of information. It's basically him and a bit of percussion. When he plays it live, it's just him and an acoustic guitar. I hear it, I feel it as 6/8. Later on in the song, he goes to a D chord, and he adds in the sus4 thing, which to me doesn't sound like a fresh bar. It sounds like the ending of a bar. 1 2 and 3 4 5 and 6. 1 2 and 3 1 3 would be 3/4, or 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm thinking of it as 6/8. You've picked an example there, Alfio, where really it kind of could be either. If you were notating it in 3/4, you'd have to use twice as much paper, unless you were very good with the repeat signs and you manipulated your sheet music like that. If you wanted to play it with a band, with a drummer, you'd probably go towards 6/8, because it's got 2 main pulses, whereas 3/4 has got 1 2 3 1 2 3. The pulse is slightly different. I'm not going to go into the technical theory and the split and the music notation today. I'm just hoping that is plenty. I hope that gives you what you need. Right, what have we got next? Edward Christian, also from the United States. Let me find Ed's question. Here we go.
Happy birthday. I would like to hear more about upstrumming while strumming the 6/8 timing signature. Thank you.
Hey, Eddie's asking about 6/8. Not a coincidence that I've put Ed after Alfio, because we've just heard what could be 6/8 with an upstrum. 1 2 and 3 4 5 and 6. So we've got 2 upstrums there, symmetrically placed, I guess you could call it, on this, but it's not the only option. Now let me just go back to my notes here. Where are they? There they are. Justin has got a lesson on this. That's the link for it, which I'll share in the resources afterwards. And I think it's called The Most Important 6/8 Strumming Pattern. So go check that out. There we've got 6/8 as all downs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And next to it we've got 6/8 as everything, downs and ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the last one of those is too busy. It's just overkill. We never are gonna strum 6/8 with 12 hits, really. I don't think we are. Not on strumming chords anyway, I wouldn't have thought. So here are some suggestions for where you might put in an upstrum or an and. Okay, top one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's familiar, right? We've just heard that in Alfio's song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Down, 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 down. So I'm holding the same chord so you can hear that it's the same thing. So there the and comes after 2 before 3. What if we shift the and along, shift the upstrum along, so now it comes after the 3 and it comes after the 5. It would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what's happening there is the upstrum, the and, is coming before each of the accented beats. 1 and 4 are accented. And we're getting that little extra something acting as an impetus into those 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it can be very effective because it propels you through the accents, the 2 pulses. What about this one? If you're not familiar with that curved line connecting those rhythmic pieces together, that's called a tie. Go with what's written up above. 1 and 3, 4 and 6. So that's down. You miss the next down, you miss the 2. Up, down. 1 and 3, 4 and 6. 1 and 3, 4 and 6. That's got a nice casual, relaxed feel to it. So you might enjoy that one. The next one has also got a tie, and it's tying to the and before the accented B. So these are a match for the 2 previous ones. All that's happening is we've removed the one of the downs. This one we've removed the down strum on 3. So it's 1, 2, and 4, 5, and 1, 2, and 4, 5. Hang on, sorry, I'm getting it wrong. 1, 2, and 4, 5, and 1, 2, and 4, 5, and 1, and 4, 5. Hopefully you got it right that time. So there's another version. We've got one more to do. It's a little bit busier because we are putting in 4 upstrums, 4 ands. After the 1, nothing. After the 4, nothing. Everything else has an up or an and after it. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, heck. Come on, Richard. Start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's edging us towards what I said you probably wouldn't do, which is strum all 12 of the 8ths. All 12 of the 16ths, it should be actually, the 6/8, 12, 16ths. But it's getting us towards that. It's a bit busier, so you might want to use that sparingly, but it's there as an option. Okay, Ed, so plenty to go out there, and it might be song specific on how you feel it, how you hear it, what you want to use. The best thing is to explore. Okay, Lisa. Lisa from Germany.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the great opportunity to send in some questions. Mine would be if you would have any advice if we want to build a little tune out of a given chord sequence that comprises, let's say, of 2 rhythm tracks and 1 melody line. Is there a good starting point or good steps to do to get started? Because whenever I just bang away, everything sounds like the same. Or if I want to do something different, I'm way too much overthinking and everything sounds really, really odd. That would be great if you have some advice on that. Thanks a lot in advance, and bye-bye.
Thanks. I'm going to only be very brief here, unfortunately, Lisa, because it's such a big topic that it would and it could easily take up a full session, which is why I'm going to refer you to a session that I did do that kind of helps with this. Even if it doesn't answer fully, it will maybe provide you with some of the answer that you're looking for. I did a session where it was playing with 2 guitars, where one is laying down a basic maybe open chord, sort of strummy thing, and what could that second guitar do? And so Vintage Club 19, I can't remember when that was, it feels like probably 8 months ago maybe. I went through a whole variety of options that you have here. They're on the screen, they'll be in the resources afterwards, so I won't read out all of the bullet point lists. But some of the obvious ones would be somebody's playing open position chords, strumming. You could capo up, use my capo conversion chart, arpeggiate the chords. The same chords, but there'll be different voicings, different shapes. Go to triads, arpeggiate the triads. There's some nice simple things, but there are other options, power chords and so on. So it's one of those where I might do another session on it, or certainly if you watch Vintage Club 19 and you've got additional questions, ask me in that topic, or come back into the topic for this session and ask me here. So I know I'm kind of putting you off a little bit and backing out of giving you an answer, simply because it's such a big question. Okay, John, I saw in the very beginning, John is having bad luck with his transport today. This is Bonyfoot in the chat. I think his train is running late, or he got delayed. I don't think he's here, unfortunately, but I'm still going to do it. Here we go.
It is in the Ballad of John and Yoko song. There's a bit of business goes on with the B chord, triad chord. There's sort of and on the A chord, down on the 9th fret, similar, and also on the E chord, the 4th fret, the same little run. What I wanted to know was what's going on theory-wise with this. Why does this work? So the B chord, B7th, A chord, 9th fret. I think I did that on the 7th fret by mistake before, but it's on the 9th fret, isn't it? And the E chord. What is that? Why does that work?
Okay, thanks, John. Thanks ever so much. It's a shame you're not here to see it, but hopefully you'll catch the recording. For those who are unfamiliar, I'm not going to play the Ballad of John and Yoko, but it's the bit that follows Christ, you know, it ain't easy. You know how hard it can be. The way things are going, gonna crucify me. Okay, and John has kind of sussed out something maybe with triads, he said there. He was saying, talking about a B7 triad. Okay. You might think of it as being kind of triad E. It's actually 6. What we've got going on here are sliding 6th, moving 6th. There's a chromatic movement. John's asked me about the theory, so I'm going to give an answer that's a little bit theory-ish. Please forgive me on that one. Right, with the A chord, I want you to visualize an A bar chord, and I also want you to visualize an A triad there. It's the shape of a D, but it's obviously further along the neck. A bar chord, A little mini triad. Hopefully you can hear that they've got the same harmonic sound. They're both A's. Okay, a reduction, a tiny fragment of this A bar chord is this triad. If you've seen any of Justin's triad lessons or any of my triad sessions, you know what these are. These are both A major triads. Now if we take away the middle of the 3 strings, the second string, we've got those. And they're suggesting an A sound. They're both something called a 6th. The distance, note-wise, between the lowest note and the highest note is an interval of a 6th. So whatever alphabetic letter name this note has, it would be 1, and you would count up 6 more letter names. That would be the 6th of them. So these are 6ths. But we're not jumping directly from A to A. We're putting something in between, which is this sliding chromatic thing. That's the same shape, moving down stepwise a fret at a time before landing on this slightly different shape back to A. So A, something chromatic, A. And it's the same on the B. I'll do that because it's right next door. B, you know that A to B is 2 frets up. So this one starts at 9, this one starts at 11. That's identical in structure, in nature, in everything that's going on. It's like a 6th that's think of as a reduction of a B triad. A B triad going to a B triad played as a 6th. And then the E, well, that is a reduction of this E. Again, it's a triad shape, but it's a 6th. Walking stepwise down. Now the one that we saw for the A and the B, they were like a little diagonal, where the 3rd string was 1 fret higher than the open, than the 1st string. What we need on the E then, if we do that, is the open 1st string, which means that's fret 1. So that's what's going on in terms of the movement. Theory-wise, 3 of those 4 positions are actually playing notes from the key. They are kind of reductions of the diatonic chords. It's in the key of E. So E, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A, B, C sharp minor. Diminished we're going to ignore because we always do, don't we? So when I was on the F sharp minor and the G sharp minor, if I reduce that big bar chord no more than a little 3-string triad, but get rid of the middle string, the 2nd string, those are in this little movement thing. So there's only one that's kind of a rogue sound. It's misplaced. It doesn't really belong, but it's the chromatic movement. So even though it doesn't really belong, it sounds good. And this type of move, you'll have heard it in blues songs. So on an intro or a turnaround of a blues, that's what's going on. It's the same. I remember John posted, he was asking for some help on the exact same sort of thing, but they were on the thicker strings, where he had oh, sorry. Oh gosh, I've forgotten it. He had the 6 going on here. No. I'll have to look that one back up. I think he had some 6 going on here. But it's definitely not that, because that's not sounding right. But it was the same thing, John. It was 6. Where else might you hear that sound? Well, without that odd rogue one, you're going to hear it in P string. We've got the same movement. You're going to hear it in David Bowie's Sound and Vision. Okay. You could do a brown-eyed girl-ish type of thing. You know that brown-eyed girl is really in thirds, but thirds, if you invert them, become 6. And you can play it like that. And it sounds almost the same, because it is almost the same. So it's 6, it's sliding 6, it's chromatic 6. And most of the notes belong in the key, but some of them don't. That's about it. I hope that's okay. Right, next. I did some notes there that I didn't talk about, so sorry about that. Rory. Rory is he our final video submission? Yes. I think he is. Right, Rory, here we go.
And firstly,
oh, sorry, no. That's, no. Do you know what? Rory, I think I need to bring you in, because I haven't got you. You're not the final one, we've got one more after you, but this is now Rory coming in here. Here we are.
Good, and very many happy returns. And I'd really just like to, first of all, just to thank you for everything you do here on the site for all of us. It really is quite amazing. You put in quite a shift, you really do. My question is, for all of us people who are playing guitar and singing songs, what would be some good tips for us to make our performances when we're playing for family and friends or whoever more enjoyable? What would make our performances more enjoyable for both us and for the people listening to the songs? Thanks very much. Happy birthday.
Okay, thanks Rory, that's a great question. What would make it more enjoyable for us and our friends? That's what we want after all, isn't it? We want enjoyment, we want fun, we want it to be good, right? I did get back to Rory and asked him in what sort of context he's thinking, and fairly broad context. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more narrow than that and think friends, family gathering, maybe a birthday party such as I had the other day. Thank you for everybody who's put the birthday wishes on, by the way. So you need to, you know, whoever's there, whoever is at the gathering, let's assume it's a barbecue in your backyard or whatever it is, play some well-known popular songs, songs that people know, are going to listen to. You don't want mournful dirges that are going to drag everybody down and make them go home depressed. In terms of actually playing them, if you were going to be focusing on an inclusivity and trying to get everybody joining in and being a part of it, forget about being all fancy and technical on the guitar. Just do something very simple, because the singing is the thing, isn't it? You want to have you sing and other people sing, and not be in awe of your wizardry on the fretboard. So just memorize a good number of songs. Maybe you've got a song book that you've collated of songs you've learned, and sort of pass it around and say, hey, pick something from that. What do you fancy? So you, again, giving people what they want instead of forcing them to listen to your obscure B-sides from the 1972 album that nobody else bought or whatever. Know the lyrics. Obviously, other people might be able to sing along with the chorus, but they won't know all of the verses. But if you do, you can carry them through to when the chorus comes back. Or if it's got a chorus that people don't know, but is quick to learn and catchy, just say to them, hey, I'd like to do this song, here's the chorus. You know, teach them the chorus and then start the song with the chorus, even if the actual song doesn't start with the chorus. You know, don't bore us, get to the chorus, as somebody once said. So hopefully that's a quick potted go at what you were wanting. Rory also asked about open mics and hotspot platforms, things like that. So I haven't touched on those in this because, again, it could be another session. We've reached 8 o'clock and I've not quite finished, so I'm going to work overtime. If you have to go, thank you for being in attendance. I understand you'll probably be able to cut the recording after the fact. But I'm going to continue. I hope that's all right with those who are able to stay with me. Right, Artem, we saw him briefly. He went away, but he's back again.
Thanks for that opportunity to ask and learn more. And my question is the following, since I'm sometimes involuntarily playing more lead parts recently, how to stay in time and keep the rhythm going when playing them. Because with rhythm, you know, you just get your hand moving up and down and it's doing all the job for you. And the same can be said about some melody lines and lead lines. You just up and down and it's constant. But anything that is more bluesier sometimes, when there's some pauses, some short phrases, long phrases, quicker, slower, and it's just you can't count it like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And recent example, I was playing Money by Pink Floyd, like that solo first. I assume you need to develop some just feel for that rhythm, but how to do that, because again, it's not something you can just count like with chords. I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you, Artem. Great question. If you're not playing chords, if you're not playing the rhythm, the main fundamental rhythm of the song, do you count? How do you count? How do you keep time? How do you build time into what you're playing? Because he was saying your wrist isn't necessarily doing this. Well, okay, I'm hoping that your wrist is kind of still doing this, or if not, some part of your body is still doing the movement, keeping the beat. If you're at the point where you're playing a lead solo over a song, hopefully you've got extremely good rhythm anyway. It's been said, and I don't know who said it, but you know, it's been said many times over. To be a good lead guitar player, you need to be a good rhythm guitar player. Rhythm, lead, they're intertwined. You can't do one without having the other, really. Lead has got rhythm inbuilt to it. When you're learning a particular solo, you collate the licks, and you could slow them down, and you could think in time. You mentioned the solo from The Money. I haven't got my electric, so I'm not going to do any Gilmore string bending malarkey here. But I think, from memory, the first lick is the one that, if you're doing blues immersion, Justin calls Hendrix, which is a bend and then a note. So if I did it as a slide instead of a bend, That's good. Yeah, I'm hitting the note better there with the slide. The money solo begins with just that very, very short lick. So you need to know the rhythm of it. Does it start on the 1? If it does, at what beat does it land here? Is it the 2, the 3, or an and somewhere in between those? Is it 8th notes that you're playing? There's not a triplet going on maybe. I think he might even be in the key of B minor. Maybe there, I'm not sure. So what I quite often have people practice is playing different rhythms just with a really very simple lick. That's a very simple lick. But let's say you've got the A minor pentatonic. Everybody who's kind of playing lead guitar will know that thing. And it's a good key to because you've got the open A string. And you can get a bit of a rhythm going with that. Here I'm playing a shuffle rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You could simplify it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to come in with a really simple something that could be no more tricky than 1 and, or 1 if we're in shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I'm giving that little 2-note lick a distinct rhythm, 1 but I'm also giving it a distinct time when it happens in the bar. But I could shift that along. It doesn't have to start on the 1. What if it started on the 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It could start on an and. Let's start it on the and after 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So you're playing with time and you're playing with rhythm, so that when you come to play a solo, a learned solo, something that you're playing real specific things, exactly as the person who played that solo originally did, you've got the facility to adopt and use different rhythms and rhythm devices within your lead guitar playing. You've built up a technical prowess, and you've built up a vocabulary of rhythmic tricks. But the other thing is just to know the song extremely well, so that its rhythm is embedded in your body. So you always know where the beat is. You always know where the beat is. Even if you're not playing on the 1s or the 2s or the 3s or the 4, but you're playing and dancing between them, you know where they are. And if your licks start in funny places, but maybe they finish on a 1, that's not a problem, because you know where that 1 is, because it's inside you. Okay, I mean that is another question that could have been a session in itself, so I have skirted quite quickly beyond it. Right, we are on to the written submissions, 5 of them. We're at 12 minutes past 8. If you're still here, thank you. Lyndon, do you have some good exercises to suggest for arthritic fingers, especially the fretting hand? My little finger tends to get stuck sometimes, and I'm sure others have issues too. Well, I've got to say, you know, hopefully those who do know, but if you don't, it was my birthday. That's why somebody in the video, some people in the video said happy birthday. I was 60 2 days ago. Touch wood, fingers crossed, I don't suffer it. Not yet, anyway. But what I'm going to link you to, Lynn, is there are several, but just one topic in the community where this was discussed recently. It started by Jeff in the community SD fan. And some people have offered good advice because they suffer from it, and some people have offered good because they have some medical knowledge and background. And there are some links to some medical sites about how you can either cope with it or compensate for it or help alleviate it. So I'm going to take a pass on that one a little bit, and I hope that's all right. Stuart Willows, how does recording yourself help with becoming a better guitar player if you don't have the knowledge, ability and experience to know what is wrong when you play back? I was speaking to one of my students, if he was here earlier, Phil, thank you so much. Phil, before the lesson I had with him today, sent me some recordings of a couple of pieces he'd been learning over time. One of the recordings was when he'd first learned it, or was first learning it, and then there were two others that took place over the course of several weeks. So the first and immediate thing is you can see your own progress and improvement, and that has a huge and beneficial effect on your confidence. Just charting your own progress over time. So I've put that as the first one, really. It helps you to see that you're getting better. The other thing I'll put in there is quite deep, really. It allows you to see and hear issues related to a variety of technical aspects. Are you playing clean chords? If not, you can detect that that's the case away from playing it and watching it, so you're more objective. Are your chord changes crisp, clean, on time? Are you maintaining a steady rhythm, or are you slowing down and pausing to make a chord change, perhaps? Is your arm moving in a consistent manner? And you can even do the volume off. In fact, it's probably better with the volume off, because it's obvious if your arm stops moving, you need to correct that, because your arm should be moving if you're strumming. And also you can hear dynamics and things. So if you've got a simple song playing through, does it sound the same volume all the way through and you've got no change in your dynamics? If so, then that's something to correct, because you play a song with ups and downs and peaks and troughs and dynamic storyline. So many benefits. Again, that could be a session in itself. Adrian sent me 3 suggestions which could have been topics, so I said to him, they're too big, can you ask me a question? So he sent me a question, but it's enormous. So Adrian, I've got to kind of swerve this one a little bit as well. Can you recommend a simple daily practice regime to cover key aspects aimed at beginners and immediates? That's enormous. So I defer you to our friend Justin. At the end of every module and at the end of each grade, he has the opportunity to stick a practice routine into your practice assistant on the website, the JustinGuitar website. It goes into the dashboard. So the top graphic there, I've underlined the practice. That's a clickable link underneath the video player. The bottom graphic, the big graphic there, is a screenshot of the home page on the website, my dashboard, but I've clicked on the second thing down, the practice assistant, and you can put your routines in there. But then as you move through and become end of grade 3, moving to intermediate, I've just done a screenshot from the website there, and Justin is quite prescriptive in a few occasions, but he also says in various spaces what you need. So he's saying you need to take more control and be more independent and choose the things yourself. So if I'm going to devise a practice routine for you, I'm afraid it would take more than just a few minutes. Where you can start is with this, and obviously it's a big discussion that you would maybe have, and if you wanted more support and help with that, it's something that you could get in the community, say. Okay, Dick, this is another one about a medical issue, so I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I'm not medically trained in any way. How can I play the open C chord without pain in my first finger on the B string? So there's the open C chord. I can play C as a bar chord, and C or C7 gives less pressure on my first finger. Is there another way to play this chord? Yeah, Dick said he's got a bit of an issue with some arthritis going on in his hand, and just this one chord, this C chord, for some reason he gets pain in his first finger. Let's look at the options. Substitutes for a C open position major chord. Right, so when C is the tonic chord in the key of C, C major, or when C is the 4 chord in the key of G, then you've got a couple of options. One of them is a C add 9. You could play a C add 9. I'm going to come to the main shot here. You could play a C add 9 as the stuck 3/4 version that Justin teaches. Like that, all 4 fingers with those 2 planted on the second and first strings. Or you could play a C add 9 like you might play it if you were holding down a C, but instead of first finger there on 1st fret, you've got little finger there on 3rd fret. That might sound right in the context of any particular song. It might work. Another option is C major 7, which is C but without the first finger. That's a win. It has a distinctive sound and it might not work on all occasions, so it's going to be song specific. That one or that one. But you'll only know by trying it within the context of a song. If I just go back to this for a minute, because C7 and C9 were mentioned by Dick. He said he can play C7 and C9. We're still thinking like down at the first few frets here, so let me show you those. Well, C7, it still uses the first finger, but maybe because the 4th finger that is there, that one is less painful because the workload is spread out, perhaps. C9 is this, if you're not familiar with this. So first finger is up here, maybe, again, that isn't painful. But the problem with those is it's only going to work in one specific, and that would be if C is the 5 chord in the key of F. Because it's only the 5 chord that extends to become these dominant 7 or dominant 9 chords. So you're not going to use that when it's the tonic chord. With one exception, occasionally songs go from C, then C7, if they're moving to F afterwards, because you are bringing the C from being a tonic to something called a secondary dominant, tonicizing the F chord, bit of theory, not going to go more deeply into that. But Dick says he can play the bar chord C. So maybe those are the ones to explore and start incorporating bar chords more. The only other suggestion I've got is to use a capo and convert your song so that you don't need that shape at frets 1, 2 and 3, but you're up here somewhere where things might be easier and less painful. Right then, I think, are we at the last question? Gosh, I think we are. Let me just check. Yeah, right, Ian, you're the last one. It's a big one. I could several sessions on this, so I'm going to be brief again. 2 parts. I'm keen to build my own musical character and style, so songwriting, great. How can I use chord progressions to flavour the tune or song by genre? Blues is well known. Well, yeah, blues, the 12-bar blues pattern that uses the 1, 4, 5 chords. But what about Santana's Latin flavours or gospel styles and pure pop styles? Part 2. How can I use specific strumming patterns to flavour the tune or song using typical flavours that work with different genres or styles? You see why this is a big one? Golly. I've just put some very brief notes. So, chord progressions. This has already been discussed a little bit today. You can have diatonic major or minor chord progressions. They're going to work in most contexts. Not the blues, but they're going to work in most contexts. But you also asked about like Santana and that Latin feel. Well, Santana isn't going to be playing something with all 6 or 7 diatonic chords. He's known for playing modal flavor chord progressions, which is just 2 or 3 chords. I'm not going to go into modes at all, but he limits his chord choices to modal progressions, and that's how he gets that distinctive sound, certain modes that he uses for his harmony. In terms of rhythm and strumming, you could try different time signatures. We've already talked about 6/8 and 3/4 as well today, so you've got 4/4 as well, and you've got others in there. Strumming or arpeggiating, we've seen lots of strumming today, but there's arpeggiating. Okay, accenting beats. You might accent the 1 and the 3. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Or the 2 and the 4, more rock and rolly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you might accent something else to give it a different sound. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So there I was accenting an and, not particularly common in your standard pop song, so maybe you can explore that in a different genre. Syncopation, if you don't know, is that thing of like the ands, the in between the beats. Not just accenting them, but actually sometimes not playing the main beats, or not playing all of them. So it might be 1 and 4, 1 and 4. Maybe with a bar chord and a bit of muting and something. Something like that is syncopation. So that might give you the sort of sound, the sort of feel, the sort of vibe that you're looking for as you explore and play around with different genres of music. Okay, that's all, folks. That is everything. We've got through all the questions. As I said at the very start, if you missed it, I think there was some submissions to questions through the route of a reply to the email that Fanny sent out, and I've not seen those, unfortunately, because those are stored in a place that I'm not able to access yet. So I hope I can get to them and I'll address them separately. Just got to say thank you for all the birthday wishes too. I got quite a lot of birthday wishes from folk wishing me well. I appreciate that. I really look forward to contacting our 3 prize draw winners and arranging a lesson with you. I'm going to give you a heads up on that I'm going to be away on annual leave soon, so it might be that we can't get one arranged until later into June or maybe July, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get it arranged as soon as possible and give you something to work on. So in the meantime, think about what you might want to do in the lesson that you're going to book with me. If you want to book a private lesson anyway, I'm going to point you towards the new, updated, all improved, all singing, all dancing, approved teachers page, where you'll find not just me, but Leven's there, Lee, Jed. I know that Leven and Jed were in the chat and helping out today. Thank you to both of you. That's it. It's a wrap. How much have we gone over? We've gone over about half an hour. So thank you, those who've stayed the distance and endured about 90 minutes of this open Q&A. If you liked it, please provide some feedback, either in YouTube comments, not the live chat, but the comments where they'll stay, or better, your best one is email richard@justinguitar.com and fanny@justinguitar.com. Or put some comments in the community topic, put some comments in the WhatsApp group, because this format is a bit of a tryout, and hopefully, if you liked it, if you thought it was valuable, then we can maybe look at doing more of this style of live show. Thanks all. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll catch you next time. Cheers now. Bye bye.